I flew to Japan to try out all the #1 Japanese beauty products so you don't have to, and today I'm gonna go through them all. I've been testing everything out for the past month now to really see if they are worth that #1 spot. If you guys are curious to know what is actually popular in Japan, what are people actually using and buying, then please continue watching. You guys might be thinking, where am I getting this #1 ranking from? I'm getting this all based from @Cosme or @Cosme. I forgot which way is the correct way to say it, but I'm gonna say @Cosme because it just flows a little bit better. But @Cosme is pretty much Japan's Sephora, and when you enter the store, the first thing you'll see is this little dome of all the top rated products. And even when you go upstairs, there is another ranking wall of the top selling products. So all of these products are based off of these two rankings. And even when you're not shopping at Cosme, if a product is very popular and it has won awards, it will usually have this Cosme sticker on it, which just shows, you know, this product is really well loved. Even if you're shopping at a drugstore or anything like that, it doesn't matter where, you might see the sticker around. So while I was shopping in store, my main goal was to get the #1 products of anything that really intrigued me, and this is what I got. Let's start off with the one skincare item that I got. This is the #1 sunscreen, and it comes from the brand Anessa. It's their Perfect UV Sunscreen Skincare Milk. It has SPF 50+, PA+++++, and I have seen this sunscreen everywhere. I've seen a lot of people talk about it. There's also a lot of variations. They also have a lot of collabs. I think I saw one, they had a collab with Pokemon. So it's a very well-loved sunscreen, and I can see why it's at the #1 spot. It was actually #1 for top sales, so you know, like literally everyone is buying this. And when I first tried it, I will say I did really enjoy it. Like the name suggests, it is a skincare milk, so the consistency is very liquidy, which means it blends into the skin really quickly. It absorbs well, so even though there is a bit of a white cast when you first apply it, once you start blending it in, that does quickly go away, so you don't have to worry about that. I think for me, what it is sort of the texture once it dries down. It is a lot more matte, and it almost becomes a bit like powdery. So on the days where my skin feels a bit more dry, when I apply my makeup on top, you can see around my mouth area looks a lot more drier. It does start to cake up a lot quicker, but I do have oily combination skin, so when my skin is feeling okay and not too dried out, I actually really do enjoy the sunscreen. So for me, this sunscreen really depends on how my skin is feeling, but when I compare it to like my other sunscreens where it's more of a cream texture, I don't really need to worry about whether my skin is feeling dry or oily or whatnot. It just works because of its texture. It just goes on like a moisturizer, whereas this, when it dries down, it becomes a bit more powdery. It is really hard to describe, but it just goes down a lot more matte. So I think if you have dry skin, possibly avoid this sunscreen. If you have oily skin, then I think you really might like it because again, of its texture, it's very thin, it's very lightweight, it dries down a little bit more matte. So I think depending on your skin type, this could be ideal for you. And actually, now that I think about it, I haven't tried any other Japanese sunscreens to compare it. So to say, do I think this is worth the #1 spot or not? I don't know, but I know it is very popular in Japan because you literally see it everywhere, and they've done so many variations, they've done so many collabs. So yes, I can see why it is #1, but for me personally, not my #1 sunscreen, but I definitely will use it up for sure. Now let's get into the makeup, starting off with the brows. This was #1 in its category. It comes from the brand Sana, and it's their newborn brow liner is what I want to call it. Essentially, it is a brush tip liner for your brows to help you draw on very realistic brow hairs, and this is a product that I just needed in my brow routine because you guys know I don't have a lot of brow hairs, but especially like in the inner part here, there is literally no brow hair. Like, I'm drawing on my skin directly. On the packaging, you can see here that it's 0.01 millimeter. So you know that this is extremely fine and thin. And because the liner is a brush tip, it's very flexible and it's not so harsh. Like, even the ink itself, it's not like an eyeliner where it's super pigmented. I would almost describe it to look quite tinted. Even if you're not great at drawing on brow hairs like myself, it still looks really good because it's so lightly tinted that it looks quite natural. I stand behind this being #1. And also guys, all of these products are available on YESSTYLE. Obviously, it's a lot more expensive purchasing purchasing it off YESSTYLE versus being in store and being in Japan. We do have access to these products. You don't have to be in Japan to buy any of these. YESSTYLE pretty much does carry all of this, so I'll have everything linked down below. And also I do have an affiliate code if you guys want to use. It is YESJUDY at checkout on YESSTYLE to save you a bit of money. Then for the #1 eyeshadow, this comes from Kate Tokyo. It's their Mellow Brown Eyes eyeshadow quad. I have mine in BR1. There is a few variations that I will say honestly, they all kind of look the same but just slightly different, but the one I have is BR1, and as you can see, it is an all satin eyeshadow quad, so that makes the formula already super easy to blend, to work with. I also really like the tone of the palette as well. Again, when we compare to the West, when we think of a very warm tone palette, like I'm thinking like ultra rich, like we have reds, oranges, chocolate browns in there, but this is a little bit more toned down. It's a little bit more neutral, a little bit more taupey, which I find so much more flattering and also just a little bit more wearable for every day. But also within the formulas, there is a bit of a difference between each of the shadows. So the two in the middle go on a little bit more of your like traditional sort of metallic satin. These have a bit more oomph to them. The one on the far left is a bit more powdery and a bit more like satin-like. This is great for the inner corners, which I love it for that. Then the one on the far right has a little bit more glitter, so you get a little bit more dimension with this one. So although it's all satin shadows, there is a bit of a formula difference between each one, which definitely gives a bit more dimension to the eyes, and you can do a full completed look with this. I have been really enjoying this. I've been low-key getting back into more warmer tone makeup. I know after my color analysis last year in Korea, I kind of went crazy with the whole summer mute cool tone makeup, and you know, I feel like I'm more of like a neutral girly rather than very warm, very cool. I'm somewhere in the middle, and I like to mix a bit of both. Continuing on the eyes, we now have the #1 eyeliner. I wasn't sure if I wanted to talk about this specifically just because I've talked about it so much on my channel. Every yearly favorites that I have, which I consider to be like my best makeup awards of the year, this has been on that list for years and years now. I've raved about this eyeliner for so long, and when I film these videos, I want to introduce you guys to new makeup or to new brands that you might not heard of. But I wanted to mention this because yes, it is #1 in Japan, but also one of their shades has gone super popular, super viral, and I wanted to share my thoughts on it. So this is the Can Make Creamy Touch eyeliner. The reason why I love it so much is one, it's very affordable. It's from Can Make. Can Make is probably, like, I would say in my eyes as a foreigner, is like the #1 drugstore brand in Japan. I could be wrong, but it's just very popular, very affordable. The products are always amazing quality, and this eyeliner, like the name suggests, super creamy. It's so pigmented and it does not budge. So if you're someone that tight lines a lot, it's amazing for that. It's really creamy to create a wing. It's #1 in my eyes. It's #1 in Japan. So I feel like if I have not convinced you yet to try this eyeliner, then I really don't know who else could convince you. But this one shade specifically went super viral. It's one of their newest shades, number 15, a cappuccino pink. I think because of its shade, it's sort of like a cool tone mauvey grayish brown. You can use it for eyeliner. You could also use it to fill in the outer V at the outer corner. I also used it for my egg cell as well. Very easy to control the pigment with pressure. Typically, I would use the black or the brown, so #1 and #3. But recently, I've been loving number 11 for my tight line and liner, and then I'll go in with 15 cappuccino pink to fill in this outer corner here, and then for my egg cell. This combo is literally the perfect cool tone combo for liner, and I know I just mentioned that I am going back into warmer colors, but because I recently got a lash lift, I'm not wearing any falsies, I don't need like a black to fill in my tight line. This looks super natural, but it also still defines because it's still dark enough. So these two together, actually I've been really loving number 11 and the very viral 15 cappuccino pink. So worth it, and when I went, they are fully back in stock now. For a while it was sold out everywhere, you could not get it anywhere. I think it's still sold out on YESSTYLE, but if you are there, I would highly recommend grabbing one. Speaking about CanMake though, they actually are also #1 in mascara. This is their Metal Look mascara, and it's one of those mascara ones that is made out of metal. So I initially first saw this from JUDY, and I feel like that was the one that went super viral. And naturally, when something goes viral, brands like to hop onto these things, and I guess CanMake has their own version as well. And if I were to compare the two formulas, it is actually very similar. I'm not sure if it's just because it's on a metal wand, the formula naturally is going to be similar, but they all do a really great job of lengthening and separating your lashes. So I always like to use this mascara as my base and then go in with something a little bit more thicker to really give my lashes a bit more texture. And that's very similar to how I use the JUDY one. So to me, they are very similar. If anything, JUDY has more variations of the wand. They have some that's a bit more skinnier, some that's on an angle, so easier for application. You could really go with either one. So let's say you're in Japan, you've already tried the JUDY metal mascara. You don't really necessarily need to get this one. I feel like they're pretty similar. So personally, I enjoyed this mascara as much as I enjoyed my JUDY one. I always use that as my base, so I love it for that. Now moving on to the cheeks. For the #1 blush, it comes from Cezanne. I have mine specifically in #3. I think we have to go back and remind ourselves of the difference in makeup styles. I am someone that loves my blush. As you can see, I am pretty heavy-handed with it. I just love how it looks. I want my blush to show up. I want my blush to last the whole day. I just look so much brighter and more youthful when I have my blush popping out. So with that being said, personally, this is not my favorite because it is extremely sheer and you really have to build this one on. It might be this shade specifically, but I think in general, the blushes there are a little bit more sheer. They do take a lot more time to really build up, but it makes total sense. If you see the makeup style there, honestly, nobody has blush this popping out. Everything is very natural. It's very clean girl and very fresh looking. So although it's not my personal favorite to use on its own, it's something that I can see myself using as just like an overall blush to really blend everything in together. That's how I would work a more sheer blush as someone that loves a really bright blush. We are now coming on to the last makeup item, and I really want to try the #1 lip product. This comes from a Korean brand, but it's only sold exclusively in Japan. So the brand is called wonjungyo. This brand is created by Twice's makeup artist. I believe she does Rosé's makeup now. She does a lot of idols, but she's just known to be Twice's makeup artist. And Momo is actually the model, the muse, the ambassador of the brand. So you'll see her all over the campaigns. And this was ranked #1. This is their Candy Glow tint, and I have mine in #1 Chai Tea Pink. I think out of everything that I got for this video is probably like my least favorite product. At the end of the day, it comes down to personal preference, but this is a very extremely thick gloss. Yes, it does have amazing pigment and it will cover up your natural lips. It has a good glossy shine to it. I think it's way too thick and too like goopy. When you first apply it, it will instantly just bunch up, and I just don't love that. Even the color itself is nothing special either. It's like a nice like pinky nude. I mean, if you have really pigmented lips and you want a gloss to cover that up, then you might like this. And obviously you can share it out. Not horrible, but for it to be #1, I don't know. Alright guys, so for the last 3 products I have for you are hair care and body care. I only have one hair care product, so I'll start with that first. This was #1 for best hair styling, and it comes from the brand Reefa. It's their Lock hair oil, and I have mine in Bloom Light. So just to my knowledge, I believe between the pink and yellow, the only difference is 1, the scent, and 2, that the pink is a little bit more premium, so it's a little bit more expensive as it does have this extra ingredient that helps protect your hair from UV rays. And then within the 2 colors, you'll see that one has darker packaging and one has lighter packaging. So I believe the darker one is a little bit more thicker, so if you want more of like a wet textured look, that one would suit your hair type. The more lighter packaging, the formula is a little bit more watery, so it's a bit more thinner. And I guess if you have thin hair, which I do, this probably would work better because it won't weigh down your hair, is what I believe. I will have a TikTok down below where this girl, she breaks everything everything down. But I ended up going for the pink one in the lighter packaging. And the whole technology behind this hair oil is very interesting. I mean, it's #1 for a reason. Refit is a very popular hair care brand and face tool brand. They just sell a lot of things, honestly. I've known them for a while now, but I feel like they just more recently got into hair tools and hair care products. Supposedly, you use this before you curl your hair and it's supposed to lock in the curls like the name suggests. Apparently, this helps cool down the curls, making it longer lasting. I think that's how the science technology works behind this hair oil. I have been using this all month long and I don't know if the curls have been lasting longer, if I'm being so honest. I even bought the Reefer hair straightener to really like test this out, the whole Reefer set, and I don't know if I really see my curls lasting any longer. So I'm gonna show you what my hair looks like with the hair oil and without it and see if it does last longer. Personally, I don't really see so much of a difference. I will say it's still a nice hair oil to use, but for what it's claiming to do for like locking in the curls, I personally don't know if I see such a huge difference where I could fully recommend it. I've tried doing it right before I curl my hair, the night before, after washing my hair. I've done it multiple ways and I just don't feel like the curls are lasting any longer from any other hair oil that I use. I mean, it's not a bad hair oil, but for what it's claiming, then I don't really think it is a great hair oil. Let's get into the body care because I don't know if it's just I'm turning 30 next year. I want to start taking care of my body a bit more. I don't know what it is. So starting off with this product, this was #1 for body soap. I don't know if it got popular after Jenny shared it in one of her videos or if it was already a popular product, but this is what the actual soap looks like. So it's a body soap scrub for your butt specifically. I know that sounds so random, so niche. It is peach scented, by the way. That the scents in Japan are not strong at all. People keep saying that this smells so good, but it smells good, but you really have to like whiff it in. Like the peach scent is not strong. Even in the shower when you are using it, I really don't smell the peach. Maybe I'm just used to like my Lush body products that smell intensely strong, that this literally smells like nothing to me. Besides the point, this is a little soap body scrub for your butt specifically. I did find it very niche, a little silly, but I did translate it and you tell me if this makes any sense. But it says the skin on your butt is prone to accumulate dead skin cells due to long periods of sitting at a desk or the friction and tightness of underwear. So wash it properly and remove excess dead skin cells. So I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. Like, yeah, we do sit a lot. I didn't really feel like my butt was very rough or anything. So when I first started testing this out, I was using it on my butt, but then I kind of just used it as an all over body scrub. And I will say I noticed this feeling a lot with Japanese body soaps and even cleansers. It's that feeling you get after you wash it off, that friction, like that sort of dryness. I do get it from this. I initially don't really like that feeling, but because now I've tried this body scrub, I've tried a body wash, a facial cleanser from them, I feel like this is just kind of the feeling that they like. It feels ultra clean. So what can you really say? Using a normal body scrub is probably gonna do the exact same thing. I will say this is very gentle. It's a very gentle exfoliant. So if you have sensitive skin, maybe this would be great for you. For me, I'm kind of just like, this one I think was a little bit gimmicky. Not a bad product. I will definitely use it until it's gone. Another one where I'm just kind of like, And finally, we are now onto the last product. And you guys, I feel like this was a thing that I was looking forward to trying. And it was a thing that I was really intrigued by. It is this foot detox patch. Essentially, you apply this before you go to sleep on the bottom of your feet, and then in the morning when you take it off, it will turn like black, and it's supposed to like suck out all of the bad toxins and stuff like that. And I don't know how true that is, just because the patch itself, there is something inside. So you put one patch on and then another one over it. So I'm like, is it because of the moisture the color changes? And you guys, I don't know if it's placebo, but I do feel like the next day my skin was just looking so much more brighter and glowy. I am trying a new face mask though, so it could be that as well, but I don't know. Overall, I did wake up feeling great. Like I wasn't feeling groggy. So it could all be placebo or it could really be working. I have a few more of these packs that I'm gonna use, so maybe I can keep you guys updated in my next video. But honestly, I kind of wish I would have gotten more. It's just so fun to put on. I will say my one didn't come out like super dark as I was expecting. But with that being said, those were all of the #1 products that I purchased while I was in Japan, ranked by Cosme. I would love to know what you guys think, as a lot of these products are pretty popular, so maybe you guys have already tried them. Let me know down below in the comments. I love chatting with you guys. But that is going to conclude today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching as always. If you did enjoy the video, if you found it helpful, if you could, please give the video a thumbs up for me. I'd appreciate it so much. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!